What's up, y'all? Ignorant friends. Now, I'm sure that every vegan out there knows someone who pesters them with ignorant comments and ignorant questions, trying to battle their lifestyle. So I have a couple of friends that I've been working with over the last few months, and we always get into conversations about veganism. And I thought I'd share a couple with you today. So one of them was, the other day my friends were eating Chipotle, which I have nothing against Chipotle if you get rice, beans, salsa, and lettuce and guac, leave out the fucking animal products, no problem. But something came up about the cheese and how cheese is a fat man's candy. Now, I couldn't agree more with that statement, cheese being a fat man's candy. That is so true. But one thing you should know is that, we started talking about cheese, and somehow we got onto the topic of carbohydrates and eating bread. And I said, carbohydrates don't make you fat. And they're like, oh yeah, right, dude, carbohydrates, that's the main purpose of fat. And then I was like, well, I guess sugar makes you fat too. And they're like, oh, dude, sugar makes you really fat. And I got into discussing like, dude, sugar does not make you fat. And then they were like, well, you're not the skinniest person, Andy. And I was like, I know I'm not right now. I said, I've been experimenting on myself. I've been experimenting. Usually I have about 5% of my caloric intake come from fat. Whereas over the last few months, I've been upping that to about 20 to 25% of my caloric intake from fat. And I've noticed I've gained weight. So does the fat you eat become the fat you wear? Hell yeah, it does. It's not the fucking sugar and carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying that sugar is a nutrient or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. Sugar is a processed food. But fruit sugar, how can you go wrong? So my one buddy was like, man, I watched this one documentary on Netflix about sugar and how about over the last 100 years, the biggest thing that has changed in our diets has been the consumption of sugar. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. The biggest thing has been the increase of sugar in our diets. I said, but who do you know that fucking eats 15 bananas with a cup of added processed sugar? And he's like, well, and I was like, yeah, most motherfuckers are consuming a cup of sugar with no fiber, no nutrients, nothing like that. And the conversation just kind of ended there. I don't really try to make these I don't try to extend these conversations. If they're not going to take in the information and listen, I just end the fucking conversation because it ain't worth my time. It's not worth arguing. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't listen to just one documentary. I don't listen to just one book. I will take bits and pieces from each documentary or each book that I read, and I will experiment on myself. I try everything on myself. I never take anything anyone says with a grain of salt. So if someone says that sugar makes you fat, well, I'm going to start consuming a whole bunch of sugar and see if I gain weight. And I never have. Now, does fat make you fat? That's why I've kind of started adding in more fat lately. Is because, yes, I do believe fat makes you fat. And how do I know that? Because I fucking tried it on myself. I fucking experimented on myself. I didn't take anyone's word. I did get an influence from someone and a lot of people that have said that fat makes you fat, but I didn't believe them, so I had to try it on myself. And then one of my other friends, he was there working, and he's a bigger dude, and I guess he's trying to lose weight right now. And the day after they got Chipotle, I asked him, I was like, did you finish your burrito bowl? He's like, yeah, I ate about half of it. I ended up getting about 1,000 calories. And I was like, 1,000 calories during that meal or 1,000 calories for the day? He's like, I got about 1,000 calories yesterday. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, 1,000 calories? He's like, oh yeah, I've done this before. He's like, I only need 900 calories for my metabolism to rise, and and then I'll start losing weight. He's like, I've done it before, I've dropped a whole bunch of weight. And I was like, dude, do you know that the fucking FDA or whoever the fucking Food Administration is says that anything under 2,100 calories is starvation, dude? And he's just like, oh, well, that's why I like coffee so much. A cup of coffee only has 1 calorie and it raises my metabolism. So every morning I gotta have my cup of coffee. And I just shake my head at this shit, and I'm just like, man, like, are my friends really that ignorant? And can I really call them friends anymore? Veganism is a funny thing because it can bring people together but it can also separate people, you know? It's a love-hate relationship because people don't like you questioning their lifestyle. You know, people question my lifestyle all the time, like, oh, well, plants have feelings and we're meant to eat meat. Why do you think we came up with the creation of instruments? We created instruments to kill animals so that we could survive. And I'm like, well, dude, you don't need to kill animals to survive in this day and age. And they're like, oh, well, if we got rid of all animal agriculture, our culture couldn't handle that much growing of produce. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you really that fucking ignorant? Or are you just testing me? You know, sometimes I just don't fucking know. But, you know, the moral of the story is don't waste your time with people who don't believe in what you're doing, with people who don't support what you're doing. You know, if someone genuinely has questions, you'll be able to tell that they're interested. But most people are just trying to invoke an argument against their lifestyle. So they want to support the way that they're living, you know, eating meat, consuming dairy, and they want to, you know, condemn the way that you're living, which is a peaceful, loving, compassionate lifestyle. And that can just make friendships end on a dime, you know. But in the other case, you will find other friends that are vegan, just as compassionate, loving, and friendly as you are, and you will have a stronger bond than you've ever had with any of your friends in the past. It's funny the way it all works, y'all, but don't worry if you're vegan. Don't let ignorant friends turn you off. Put up with them as long as you can, and then once it's time, fucking break off. If you got to lose contact with them forever, so be it, man. And that's kind of where I see my path going down right now. Like, if my friends don't want to change, you know, I can't hang around them when they're fucking smoking bongs and cigarettes all day. Like, yeah, I do enjoy the smell of weed more than the smell of cigarettes, but like, dude, I could just see them fucking, like, they could do and be so fucking much more if they just put down the goddamn bongs and stop smoking cigarettes and picked up a goddamn banana or a smoothie or a green juice. But I just don't know if they're willing to make the change, you know? Some people just aren't willing. But that's just my 2 cents, my little rant for the day. Ignorant friends, ignorant comments, ignorant questions. And that's just what it is, y'all. Don't let it get to you. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs down. I don't give a fuck. Until next time, y'all, share it with your mother, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your worst enemy. Share it in our motherfucking Facebook group. And go vegan. And spread the knowledge. Peace, y'all. Peace.